It was during the fall semester of 2017, my first year of grad school. Struggling to adapt to a new city and manage my hectic schedule, as a young male student, I decided to use a carpool app to save time and money. It seemed a practical alternative to taxis and public transport, and I found the idea of meeting new people quite appealing. One day, I got a match with a woman, who we'll name Alice, for the sake of the story, a fellow grad student at the same university. Alice seemed amiable and energetic from our initial chats. We exchanged numbers, and soon our conversations began to flourish. She was witty and intelligent, often engaging in stimulating debates about our courses, professors, and shared interests. I was drawn to her intellectual curiosity, and the idea of forming a casual friendship outside the carpooling scenario seemed quite natural. Within a week, Alice suggested we meet for coffee on campus. Eager to connect in person, I agreed. When we met, Alice didn't exactly match her profile picture. Her appearance was subtly different, not in an alarming way, but enough to give me a brief pause. I shrugged it off, attributing the discrepancy to lighting or photo editing, which I considered normal with these kinds of apps. Our conversation flowed well, despite some strange questions from her about my daily routines, schedules, and even personal relationships. I dismissed these oddities, chalking them up to her naturally inquisitive nature. The following weeks, however, took an unusual turn that started to erode my initial impression. Alice began showing up at my usual spots on campus, always managing to bump into me coincidentally. At first, I found it amusing, even flattering, but as the pattern continued, it became disconcerting. She began texting me frequently, sometimes late at night, with messages ranging from simple hellos to asking about my whereabouts, friends, or weekend plans. My discomfort grew, but I blamed myself for being overly paranoid. Perhaps Alice was just friendly, I reasoned. However, one evening, she appeared outside my apartment uninvited, citing a random reason for being in the neighborhood. It felt strange, invasive, and my instincts screamed that something was seriously off. After this unsettling encounter, Alice's behavior escalated. Her messages and calls increased in frequency, becoming more intense and personal. She started showing up at my study spots, libraries, even the gym, sending constant texts, and making me feel watched at all times. Friends began to notice her hovering presence and questioned our relationship. My grades started slipping as I grew more anxious and distracted. One terrifying night, I discovered Alice standing outside my apartment late at night, staring at my window. Her face was expressionless, her stance unnerving. I felt a surge of fear and realized that this was far from innocent curiosity. I immediately reported her to the university and the police. The subsequent inquiry unveiled a disturbing history. Alice had previously been reported by other students for similar stalking activities. Even more chilling, she had been expelled from another university due to this pathological behavior. The police also revealed that she had kept a detailed record of my daily routines and personal information. The university took swift action, removing Alice from the campus and providing me with counseling support. But the experience left a lasting and haunting impression on my mind. I became more cautious, always looking over my shoulder, and questioning the intentions of those I met. Alice's shadow seemed to linger long after her physical presence was gone, a chilling reminder of how seemingly ordinary connections could turn into nightmares. The incident also sparked a review of the carpooling app's security measures and a broader discussion on campus about personal boundaries and safety. But for me, the lessons were more profound and personal. I learned the importance of trusting my instincts and realized the importance of setting clear boundaries, even in seemingly casual relationships. The experience with Alice remains a chilling chapter in my life, a lesson in trust and caution that I'll never forget. It's a reminder that sometimes, beneath the guise of friendship and connection, darker motives may lurk. Story 2. It was during my first job after college in 2018. I was working as an intern in a reputed company and was absolutely thrilled about starting my professional life. On my first day, I was introduced to my colleagues, and I felt a friendly vibe from everyone. Among them, one person stood out, John. He seemed to be a friendly, funny, and quirky guy, always cracking jokes and making everyone laugh. We started having lunches together, and soon we were texting regularly, sharing stories and interests. As time passed, however, I began to notice that John's behavior began to change. He would insist on dropping me home after work, and if I ever refused, he would turn quite moody, sometimes sulking for days. He would probe into my personal life, my whereabouts, and whom I was talking to, disguising it as friendly concern. I felt uneasy but dismissed it, thinking that maybe he was just a bit overprotective. Things began to escalate slowly. John invited himself to my place for dinner one evening. I was taken aback but didn't want to offend him, so I agreed. The night went awkwardly, and he kept asking strange, intimate questions that made me uncomfortable. After he left, I found myself more disturbed by his behavior than I was willing to admit. From that night on, John began showing up at my place unannounced. Sometimes, he would be waiting at my office building before my shift ended, claiming that he was just passing by. His messages became more frequent and intrusive, often asking about what I was doing, who I was with, and when I'd be home. My anxiety reached a peak one afternoon when a coworker named Lisa approached me, looking worried. Her face was pale, and she insisted we talk privately. Once we found a secluded spot, Lisa revealed that she used to date John and had experienced similar behavior from him. She shared horrifying details of how John would become obsessively controlling, checking her phone, and even following her to her friends' houses. The most alarming detail was that John had supposedly planted a GPS tracker in her car to keep tabs on her movements. Shaken by these revelations, I knew that action had to be taken. We reported John to our superiors, detailing everything we had experienced. They took the matter seriously and encouraged us to file a complaint with the police. The police investigation uncovered even more disturbing information. John had previous cases against him for stalking, harassment, and invasive behavior. We learned that he had been through counseling but had never truly changed. It was a chilling revelation. Following this, John was fired from the company, and a restraining order was put in place, barring him from contacting me or Lisa. I haven't heard from John since then, but the terrifying experience has left a deep impact on me. I've become wary and vigilant, always conscious of my surroundings and who I trust. I've also grown closer to Lisa, as we both helped each other through a traumatic time. We often discuss how something that seemed so innocent at first turned into a nightmare. Looking back, I can see the warning signs and how easy it was to dismiss them. It's a lesson I'll never forget, a reminder that sometimes, people are not what they seem, and it's crucial to trust our instincts and take action when something doesn't feel right.